We want those EVs to be made in America, and increasingly they are.
I'm happy to have them made in America, Mr. Secretary. What I'm not happy about is the mandate. The American people should be able to buy
that brings me to the
any
fourth and
vehicle
final
that
thing
they
that
want to.
I need to challenge as being factually inaccurate, which there is no mandate. You can purchase a gas car if you want to pay gas prices at the pump, but if you don't, you can purchase an EV.
That was Scott Perry of Pennsylvania questioning the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, or as Joe Biden calls him, Secretary Booty Judge. I'll most likely do a longer full highlight video of this hearing as it was pretty entertaining from beginning to end. But for now, this is a segment that I wanted to highlight as it is talking about a pretty important issue at the moment. A lot of the hearing overall was about the EV subsidies versus the oil company subsidies. Republicans were opposing a lot of the electric vehicle subsidies, while Democrats were always combating that by saying, well, there's a ton of subsidies that go to oil and gas companies. What's interesting about this exchange between Buttigieg and Perry is the fact that Buttigieg says no one is forcing you to buy an electric vehicle, there is choice in the marketplace. And if that were true, I would agree with him. It would be a battle in the marketplace between electric vehicles and the traditional gas-powered vehicles. However, it's a bold-faced lie, and many of the states are going to mandate these in the future, and they will not allow sales of gas-powered vehicles. So I really just wanted to point out how this is a fallacy that the administration and Democrats continue to push, that they are not forcing anyone to buy any sort of vehicle. When in fact, in the coming years, you will be forced to buy certain vehicles, and there's no doubt about it.
Now, recognizing that attempts to bribe the industry and the public into EV adoption have literally failed at this point, continue mandating CAFE standards, EPA tailpipe standards that are de facto EV mandates. And ideological allies in 12 states are seeking to ban the sale of non-EV cars. Now, we can talk about the proper role of government. That'd be a great conversation, because I don't think that we have the authority or should have the authority to limit what consumers can buy in this regard, or what they can own. But clearly, Mr. Secretary, this isn't working. So I'm wondering, is there some point, and if you've identified some point where you will stop, where the administration will stop, where the federal government will stop this requirement and let the market decide, as opposed to this central planning model and this dictatorial policy?
Well, thank you. Given time is limited, I will confine myself to addressing the factually incorrect portions of what you have said, beginning with the assertion that EV sales are going down. They are, in fact, going up.
Does that include the government sales or private sales?
Every single year,
private sales
more
or government
Americans
sales,
have purchased
Mr. Secretary?
EVs. The entire market.
The government's forced to buy them, so sales are going up, but private sector.
There are private sales too, yeah.
I'd like those numbers.
Sure. 1.2 million EVs were sold in the U.S. in 2020.
How many government and how many private?
We'll get you that breakout, but as you know, more private citizens buy EVs than government purchases.
No, I don't.
Let me address the second factual mistake in your remarks, which was that EV costs are getting higher. They're in fact getting lower, and according to J.D. Power, have now reached parity or are slightly lower than the equivalent gas-powered car. That does include the subsidy. That's right. But the point is, they are going lower.
But they're not, because we're all buying them.
Your statement that they are going up is incorrect. The third incorrect assertion you made is that sales dropped in Q1. They did not drop compared to Q1 of the previous year. Of course, if you compare them to Q4, they drop, because they always do, because car sales are seasonal. But I would imagine most people are aware of that. And
no,
fourth,
I'm talking about
I want to
particular
address
EV, Q4 to Q1. EV, not just overall car sales.
Any car sales go down Q1 to Q4, because more people buy cars in Q4. But what I'm telling you is every single year, more Americans buy EVs than the year before. And the word tailspin is just a bizarre word to use for a growing sector of our economy. We also think that since that's the way that the market is headed, we should not allow China to build on the advantage that they developed during the Trump administration, not because they're environmentalists, but because they understand the economic power of trying to dominate the EV market. We want those EVs to be made in America, and increasingly they are.
I'm happy to have them made in America, Mr. Secretary. What I'm not happy about is the mandate. The American people should be able to buy
that brings me to the fourth and final
that
thing that I need to challenge as being factually inaccurate, which there is no mandate. You can purchase a gas car if you want to pay gas prices at the pump, but if you don't, you can purchase an EV with our help.
You have the California Air Resources Board. They voted this afternoon to ban, all new gas-powered vehicle sales here in the Golden State by 2035.
I think right now, I'm not sure if it's the best idea. I mean, maybe like long term, but not everybody can afford that.
Developing news as the California Air Resources Board votes to ban all gas-powered vehicle sales by the year 2035.
I have a Tesla, so to me it's all right. You know, I don't mind. I'm glad I'm not paying the gas prices now. I used to have an Acura. I love the car, but I mean, I'd be paying almost $6 a gallon.
It's a multi-phase plan that would require 35% of new cars to be powered by electricity or hydrogen by the year 2026, 51% by 2028, and 100% by 2035. But is California ready for the shift? According to the state's Energy Commission, more work is needed. Data shows the state needs 1.2 million electric vehicle chargers by the year 2030, as 7.5 million electric vehicles are expected on state roads by then. Also, more than 157,000 chargers are also needed by 2030 to support an estimated 180,000 medium and heavy-duty trucks that'll be on the road by then as well.
17 other states have already followed California's lead and adopted its tailpipe emission standards. In New York, a bill was signed that sets to have all cars and trucks sold in the state be zero emission by 2035. In Washington, state lawmakers set a target to phase out the sale of new gas-powered cars by 2030.
This was the scene this morning at a charging station near 95th and Western in Evergreen Park. Drivers say some of the stations weren't working, and those that were taking a lot longer to charge.
I've been here for over 5 hours at this point, and I'm still have not got to charge my car. Charge it should take 45 minutes. It's taken 2 hours.
That driver says he saw at least 10 cars towed.
Electric cars may be the way of the future, but it's clear there are some problems when it comes to charging them in Chicago's deep freeze.
Oh, we got a bunch of dead robots out here.
Dead robots. Dead Teslas packed the parking lot at this Tesla supercharging station in Oak Brook, a scene mirrored in other supercharging stations around the Chicago area.
Man, this is crazy. It's a disaster. Seriously.
With temperatures falling into the negative double digits, these charging ports have stopped charging, leaving many Tesla owners stranded here in long lines since Sunday.
Nothing, no juice, it's still on 0%, and this is like 3 hours this morning being out here, after being out here 8 hours yesterday.
Has it been charging?
No, not at all.
It just isn't working?
At all. It's just frozen, and so I'm now getting it towed to the Tesla Service Center.
I actually forgot to plug into my garage last night.
In weather like this, Jonathan Rosenberg says he needs to get behind the wheel of his electric car with a plan.
You definitely get some significant loss of range for sure. I mean, maybe even like over 25%, I would say.
It definitely dies a lot faster.
This happens because the chemical reactions powering the battery slow down. Keeping the heat on inside the car also takes up battery life.
All fired up, get nice and toasty.
A helpful feature on these Teslas in weather like this is if you plug somewhere into the GPS, the car will tell you that the battery's draining too fast and you don't have the range to make it.
Drivers say the cold can slow down the charging too, a cost not only in time, but money as well.
I would say I'm spending like $25 to $30 every other day.
These cars are all dead batteries. That car is stranded. Here comes another one hoping for something good to happen here. All of these vehicles right here, all of them have dead batteries because of those charging stations. They're not working. So these drivers came to charge their batteries in the cold, but these charging stations are not working. In Evergreen Park, same story. Take a look at that area right there near 95th and Western. We found several Tesla owners there, stranded with dead batteries from the cold and not enough working charging stations at that location.
Oh, we got a bunch of dead robots out here.
Dead robots.